Hello and welcome back to the Calculator Review, hosted on Caliquin.com. So, you might have noticed that the sign's a little bit different today because not only do I have the Calculator Review, but I also have the Calculator Repair. I'm going to try something a bit different today, in that I'm going to review and repair a calculator. So, setting that aside, so we have this thing. I don't really know what it is. I found this at Goodwill for $1.99, and it's a pretty generic calculator. As you can see, oh, it does turn on. Huh. It wasn't turning on a minute ago, but okay. Okay, well this is awkward. I guess it's not really going to be... I am going to be cleaning this thing up and making it look better, but since it's working, I might as well get into the functionality of this calculator. You might have noticed it's curved for some reason. I don't really like this because it makes the viewing angle kind of awkward, but it actually does make the viewing angle for the video really nice as I'm looking up at the camera. Yeah, it actually works really well for that, but it does have this little tilt-up thing, so you can tilt it up, so even though it's curved, you can change the angle, and it does stay in place, so it's not bad. As far as the overall look and feel, it's okay. It doesn't feel great. It feels a bit lighter than it looks, and it doesn't feel particularly good. It does feel strong though. It, as you can see, like trying to bend it, I'm not going to put a huge amount of effort into this, but it doesn't bend easily. The thing that does bother me about it, though, more than anything, is the fact that it's not solar powered. This is clearly a more recent calculator, and it runs on a LR1120 battery, which in here, if I'll get to this thing right here. So, pulling out, you can see this battery is pretty worn. It's not in great shape. But what annoys me is that they didn't make a little clip to hold this in place. Instead, you have to use a screwdriver to get to it. And that's something that's always bugged me about a lot of these kinds of calculators. Like, not everybody who is going to have a calculator all the time is always going to have access to a screwdriver. So if they need to change the batteries, you know, that's going to cause problems. So the first thing I want to do is I want to remove this battery, and since I know it's got some life in it, I'm not going to replace it. I'm actually going to clean it up. So, setting that aside, I want to get rid of this LP, whatever that stands for. I want to get rid of the Goodwill sticker that they put on absolutely everything. So, first... Okay, well, that was easy. I want to get inside this calculator and clean up any kind of corrosion that's inside of it, and also get some pictures of it for the written review. Wow, that was irritating. Okay, so now that I'm inside this, I am genuinely surprised by the quality of this board. So, okay, we got a date here, spring, July 2nd, 2003, so this thing's about 15 years old. But yeah, this is actually a very high quality board. I was expecting to see one of those awful plastic boards. So we got a little bit of information here that I can use to track down the makers of this. Let's see if I can get this fully disassembled. Don't want to break these wires, but... Oh, that just popped right off. So you can see here, this is pretty corroded. So I'm going to have to resolder these wires. I will not be doing that on camera, or maybe I will, I don't know. So what makes the whole calculator feel kind of cheap is this part right here. It's very strong plastic, but it's very light. And I really can't take points away from it just because it's light. Anyway, I want to get rid of these pointless stickers and possibly remove this this here. I don't even know if that company's in business, but I doubt they had anything to do with the making of this calculator. They probably purchased it and used this as promotional material. So let's see if I can pop that out. Then again, if I do remove that, that's just going to leave a blank space there. So since I haven't done any damage to that yet, I'm going to leave it in place. That way the calculator does have some kind of character to it, because if I remove that, this is going to be a very, very bland looking device. So let's get rid of these though. Alright, since I'm going to be doing some soldering anyway... Oh. Oh no. Well, since I'm going to be doing some soldering anyway, I might as well just completely disconnect these, because they're not doing any good. So I'm going to have to clean up those contacts and see if I can get this to stick on a bit better. Hopefully the calculator continues to work, but I may have killed it. And this might have to go into my calculator graveyard. I really hope that's not the case though. But we'll find out. So, sadly, it seems I have killed this calculator. The ribbon back here tore off, and it's not making a solid connection anymore. I believe this this tape used for the ribbon, or whatever, this plastic, is so worn that it's no longer making a good connection. And this is really unfortunate. I don't think I'm going to be able to save this one. Not without redoing this entire ribbon. There might be another way of doing this, but for now, I think this calculator is going to have to go into the calculator graveyard that I have. And yeah, that was a lot of work to make a calculator worse than it already was. But that's okay. This calculator was only $2. That's not to say that it deserved to stop working, because, like I said, this was actually a pretty well designed device. It's just this plastic part right here was the clear weak point. In fact, I haven't really pulled on it, but looking really close, it looks like it actually, yep, okay. So that's another point that it disconnected on. Yeah, there's no saving this at this point. Not without wiring up all of these, but I'm not going to do that because that's a significant amount of work for a $2 calculator. It's really a shame because this was turning out to be a really good device. It's just they used one cheap component, and that was the weakest link of the whole thing. And I see this occasionally in calculators. They are fairly well designed, but they just used one really cheap component, and it causes the entire calculator to stop functioning. It's a real shame. But like I said, the circuit board in this is fantastic. It's very well constructed, very really nicely printed, and just high quality overall. All of the components, with the exception of that, are very high quality. So this calculator is going to... I will probably feature my calculator graveyard in the near future. There's more devices than I care to admit in that category. But for now, I'm going to get this thing put back together and give my final thoughts on it. Alright, so the calculator is back together. Still does not work. So final thoughts. This is pretty disappointing, and I'm not going to pretend that it wasn't entirely my fault that this calculator failed. I definitely messed up. I was careless in taking it apart. I did not expect that ribbon to be as fragile as it turned out to be. But, alas, this calculator will probably never work again. I might break it down for its individual components or something, I don't know. But yeah, it's a shame. Made in China, though being made in China doesn't necessarily mean bad quality, but in this case it is bad quality. I'm going to stick these little feet back in. Hopefully they'll just stay in. I'm not going to bother gluing them. And this will be added to my graveyard. So expect to hear about that in the near future. And of course this calculator will be among them. So, thank you very much for watching. Bye! So, before this video ends, I actually have an update. This has turned into quite the adventure for the calculator review. As you've seen, this calculator is dead, but I went shopping at Goodwill recently and came across this. Now, you might think initially that this is an identical calculator, but it's not. The most obvious difference is the fact that this one has this kind of label and this one has one that's kind of printed onto it. The buttons are all the same. They have the same fields to them. Same everything, with one major exception. This one has a door for the battery compartment, and this one does not. And also this one is slightly thicker for some reason. Honestly, this is kind of disappointing because I would rather this calculator work than this one, because I don't really want to disassemble this knowing what I know about this one. So, once the battery on this runs out, I believe that might be the end of this calculator. I don't know how easy it is to get to the inside of it. I don't want to find out. But it is a little bit of a miracle that I managed to find a very, very similar device. I would not be surprised if these came from the same company. Now, this one was from 2003, and this one has a date of 2007, which is very strange considering this one is more well designed than this one. So they actually took some steps backwards, possibly to save some money or something. I don't know. Whatever it was, they made a huge mistake. I know that I have to remove these feet again if I'm going to get inside of it. This is terrible. So, while this calculator does deserve a bit of praise, this one does not. I'm extremely disappointed with this thing. Yeah. And worst of all, there's not even an off button on either one of them. So once it's turned on, it's not going to turn off for a little while no matter what you do. And if you hit a button, it resets the amount of time that it takes for it to turn back off. So that's just a waste of battery. And considering how hard it is to get to the battery, I cannot recommend this calculator at all. And I wanted to be excited about finding the same calculator again, but it's not. It's slightly updated. I don't know if they increased any kind of or increased the quality of any of the components inside, but I doubt it. At best, I'd say it has the same kind of control board on the inside. At worst, it probably uses one of those crappy paper ones and a piece of cardboard. That wouldn't even surprise me. So, whatever brand this is, it sucks. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.